So have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? You're taking the supplements, you are working out, you're trying to reduce stress, and yet your body still feels stuck, like the weight won't budge. Your digestion feels off, you're still emotionally eat. And so what if the missing piece wasn't another diet or exercise plan or just going to talk therapy? What if it's really about the unresolved emotional stress your body has been carrying for years? And so I want to start out by saying something. I don't love making weight the focus of why you want to resolve your emotional eating, because healing emotional eating is so much bigger than the number on the scale. But I also know that a lot of women that come to me notice the weight gain along with their emotional eating, and they often blame themselves. They think, if only I could get the calories in and the calories out to a match so that I could lose the weight, so I'm eating less and moving more. You know that old adage of calories in equals calories out. So if you want to lose weight, you eat less, you move more. But it's not that simple when you're an emotional eater. So when we think about stress, we usually think about our day-to-day life. We have a busy life. We're trying to meet deadlines. We're trying to get the kids to school. We're rushing around. We just seem to not have enough time in the day. But there's another kind of stress, and that has to do with your emotions and not fully processing them. There's a stress of feeling like you're not good enough, the stress of constantly criticizing yourself, the stress of people-pleasing, the stress of old, unresolved emotional pain like hurt, shame, or old emotional wounds. The thing is, your body doesn't relate to physical stress any differently than emotional stress. They're actually quite intertwined, because emotional stress puts physical pressure on your body. And so when you have these unresolved emotions under your emotional eating, you're using emotional eating to help you soothe from this discomfort, your nervous system is in fight or flight mode. This is a stress state, which means that it's turned on to produce more cortisol. It's going to make you hold on to weight. It's going to impact your digestion, your mood. Your body is in a state of dis-ease. It's more prone to inflammation, to chronic issues down the road, to poor self-esteem, low confidence, because your moods are impacted. And so this stress from these unresolved emotions, they impact you on a physiological level through impacting your digestion, through impacting your mood, your hormones. And so you have this cascade effect impacting you from these unresolved emotions. And so while how you eat absolutely matters, this is a deeper layer that's not being spoken about. It's difficult to feel at ease and peace when you have these underlying emotions that you're then going to food to soothe. Your nervous system never really learns to truly get to a state of calm because it's constantly using band-aids like food to help it regulate itself. So this happened to me when, I was at this point where I was eating really well. I understood nutrition. I was exercising and I was taking the supplements, and on paper, my digestion and my health should have been really optimized. But that's not what I experienced. What was happening to me was that I was in a stressful situation. I was being triggered emotionally, and that would impact how I was feeling in my body. And I started noticing I would go to food more. I would emotionally eat more. And I wasn't getting into that deeper layer of the emotions. And so I would be able to do all of the things on the surface and get a result, but it wouldn't last for a long time because my emotional eating would come back in. My stressors would come back. The discomfort of life would come back, and that would throw me off. And I even remember a period of time where I was able to eat well while I was having a lot of stress, and my body it wasn't reacting the same way to food. I could see it holding on more. I can see it holding on to weight more. And that is what's happening internally with your nervous system. You can eat well, you can be really controlling and disciplined, and it can look like nothing's actually shifting on the inside because that stress response is still very activated. And if you're an emotional eater, you have this underlying stress with food. Even though you might be able to restrict for a while and not give into it, it's still playing out under the surface. And it's not until you start dealing with that underlying layer, what's under your emotional eating, that this pattern can shift, that your body can let go. Your body can shift into rest and digest mode, where it wants to release the excess weight. It wants to, it will have better digestion, optimized moods. You'll be in a state of health. You'll feel more vibrant and confident. And so this was a big piece that was missing. And I'm not saying that obviously nourishment, movement, they all matter. But when you're missing this bigger piece, you're not going to shift your emotional eating. You're not going to see that transformation in your body. And so if food has become the way that you deal with stress, discomfort, uncomfortable emotions, no amount of nutrition and exercise is going to shift your body. You need to do the deeper work. You need to look at your emotions, what has been going on, the unprocessed emotions, the traumas, the deeper layers in the body, not just talking about it like in talk therapy. And so this is why a lot of women get frustrated. They think they're doing all of the right things, but they're not looking at this deeper layer because it might be uncomfortable, or you might not even know this is what you need to do. And so in my experience in resolving my own emotional eating, I was trying all of the diets and exercise, and I was even going to talk therapy, but I hadn't hit this deeper emotional layer to really move my emotional eating. And I wasn't doing it all together, because once you start working with that deeper layer in the body, the way you nourish yourself and move your body also shifts, because a lot of the times we're very restrictive with how we're eating. We don't accept our body, and that puts additional stress on us. More additional pressure of not feeling good enough, of triggering us into old self-sabotaging patterns. And so when I work with women, we're looking at all of the important layers to help them shift their emotional eating. We're looking at how they're nourishing themselves. It's important, and shifting to a new way. We're seeing where they're triggered into their emotional eating. We're looking at how they are with their bodies. If there's criticism, are there triggers around that make them go into emotional eating? And then we're, of course, looking at the deeper emotional roots. We're looking at the triggers. We're getting into the root in the body, not just cognitively or consciously. We're actually shifting the pattern and we're actually giving you what you actually needed at this level, so that your body can finally feel like, I'm not holding on to these emotions. I'm not bracing myself. I can release it and let go. And that is where the weight and the discomfort and the digestive issues, they all start releasing. This is all a multi-layered approach, and it's important we have all these pieces. They all work together synergistically. And so when this happens, you're more connected to hunger, to your body, you're connected to food, the mental chatter disappears, the food noise, you start feeling at ease and peace around food and in your body. So if you're wondering why changing the way you eat hasn't completely changed your relationship to food, this is the deeper reason. You might only be working on one piece of the puzzle. And so inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program, I help women address the nervous system layer, the emotional layers, and the nutrition layers of their emotional eating pattern. And so if you're looking for that deeper support, I'd love to invite you to find out more about the Emotional Eating Evolution program. This is my 12-week container with the step-by-step process. There is a weekly office hours, one-to-one sessions with me on the deeper tools to shift your emotional eating pattern. And so if you'd like to find out more about it, I'll put the link below. And as a next step, if you're ready to resolve your emotional eating and actually shift your body, then I'd love to invite you to book in an emotional eating clarity call. On the call, we find out more about you and what you've tried and how I can support you in the program. So you can find those links below. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about what I've shared, please let me know. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.